Good afternoon. I hereby call this January 10th meeting of the Public Safety Committee to order. Due to the Safe at Home order, all committee members are participating virtually, as you can see. For virtual meetings, committee members will be muted until asked to be heard. When there is a vote, it'll be necessary to take a roll call vote. A committee member will be recognized and will raise their hand to state their vote. It looks like today we have all committee members present. Committee members are Councilmember John Larson, Councilmember Kevin Mundy, and Councilmember Barbara Burke. As always, I'd like to take this moment on behalf of the committee and thank our brave men and women of the police, fire, and emergency management divisions for the work that they do to keep the people in our community safe. So again, we thank you. We appreciate what you do on behalf of the Public Safety Committee. Members of the committee, you are familiar with the consent agenda. Are there any items on the consent agenda that should be pulled for consideration? If there are no items, I would entertain a motion at this time.
So moved. Mundy.
Second.
It's been motioned and properly seconded. We'll do the roll call, please. Madam Clerk.
Councilmember Larson.
Yes.
Councilmember Burke.
Yes.
Councilmember Mundy.
Aye.
Councilmember Taylor.
Yes, the consent agenda is approved unanimously. That brings us to our only general agenda item. And Madam Clerk, if you will call the item, please.
Item G1, resolution authorizing a 10-month extension for the Driver Restoration Initiative and Vocational Expansion Drive Program in Forsyth County.
I'd like to recognize Mr. Johnny Taylor, or Assistant City Manager Johnny Taylor, for a presentation, please.
Good afternoon, Chairman Taylor, Mayor Pro Tem Adams, other members of the committee and council. I'm here today to speak about an extension to the existing agreement between the city in partnering with the DRIVE program. And so when we talk about DRIVE, we're talking about Driver Restoration Initiative and Vocational Expansion Program. And so just to give you just a brief summary, because it's been some time, the Forsyth County DRIVE program provides an avenue through which Forsyth County residents burdened by economic hardship can engage with the court system to have their driver's license restored. There are different things that create some of the challenges here. Something as simple as being ticketed for a traffic offense, and you're not able to handle the fines or fees associated with it can lead to indefinite license suspension. And then, of course, other things come from that. People are trying to survive, and then they're encouraged maybe to do some things that may lead to further issues. So this program provides an opportunity for those individuals to be eligible for assistance through the DRIVE program. So anybody whose license was suspended for those particular things, like failing to pay court costs and fines after receiving a traffic citation prior to 2015, would be eligible. So in February of 2020, the City Council appropriated $275,000 to assist with the expansion of the program to cover such things as operating expenses, legal assistance, the positions for the Assistant District Attorney, as well as administrative clerk. So far, the program has yielded successes. There have been more than $83,000 worth of fees waived on 587 criminal charges. Relief has been given to 127 residents. There are 373 pending applications, an average of 10 applications a day. So your question may be why the actual program needs to be extended is because there have been some challenges related to the job posting requirements. Also, there have been courthouse closures due to the COVID-19 pandemic. And there is also more of a desire for individuals that want to prosecute as opposed to actually work in this capacity in this program. So we have remaining funding from the agreement, which was executed in August of 2020, and it expires at the end of January. There are $154,000 remaining that have not been spent, and the request is for the mayor and city council to authorize a 10-month contract expansion. And I would like to say that I'm not certain whether District Attorney O'Neill is here, but I know that Ms. Macy Wiseman, who works with the program, is here, who may be able to assist with any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. Mr. Wiseman, thank you for being on the call as well. Are there any questions for Ms. Wiseman and Mr. Taylor regarding the request for the extension of the drive program? Councilman Larson.
Mr. Chairman, thank you very much. Very interesting program. I'm curious about a couple of things. We have not spent a little over half of the money so far. I'm assuming that this amount remaining would get us through 10 months. Is that the belief that we're working under? That's the 10-month threshold that we're dealing with, and hopefully we can continue to run the program that length and perhaps even longer as we look into the budgets. I would be interested to hear from the DA's office about their perspective on how this has worked out, since this is a new program and pilot. I'm very encouraged by what I'm hearing so far, but I would like an opinion from them.
Hey,
Ms. Wiseman, are you with us today?
Just jump in. I didn't mean to jump in, Chair Taylor, but this is Elizabeth Drazel. I'm one of the prosecutors here as well, if you have any questions for me.
Ms. Drazel, thank you for being here as well. Mr. Larson, would you like to restate your question, please?
Well, the question is, they consider it a successful program. I guess as core president, their prosecutor dealing with this. Is this clearing the court systems? Is this expediting our legal system? Is it, in fact, providing a service to a population that is challenged economically and allowing them to continue to function within our community, to get to work, to get to the hospital, to meet appointments and what have you? It seems to me that we're a transportation-based society, and without a driver's license, you have major problems conducting business and living in the daily grocery store runs, everything. So I think it provides an avenue for people to get their lives in order. I would like to have an opinion, though, from the district attorney as to how successful they think the program is functionally.
ADA Drazel or Ms. Wiseman, are you able to speak to that element for Mr. Larson, please?
This is Elizabeth Drazel, and Ms. Wiseman may want to chime in as well. She's been working directly with the program for this whole time. I think the biggest impact of the program is, of course, helping people who restore their driver's license so that they can actually be functional members of our society and do things as you just as you mentioned, get to the doctor's office, get to their job. I mean, I think the value of that is huge. As far as, I would not say it's necessarily clearing out the court system per se, because, you know, we just have a lot of cases. But for the individuals that are able to get their license restored, you know, it's hard to really measure the impact of that. I think our numbers are probably a lot less than they could be, because for a large period of time during when this program was started, we had various court closures due to COVID, and then we're getting back started and had some personnel transition, that kind of thing. So I think, as you can tell from the fact that there's 300 plus applications pending right now, there's definitely still a lot of demand for the program were it to be able to continue. Ms. Wiseman, would you want to add anything to that?
Yes, and I will say there are people still, plenty of people still applying to the program. The 373 number that we have was as of last Tuesday. I would say we've probably added about 40 more to that number. And they are just pending a review by an ADA to determine their eligibility within the program.
Thank you, ladies, for being here to answer those questions. We've got a couple of more. But before we move forward, I saw Mayor Pro Tem Adams, and then we'll go to Mr. Councilman Mundy. Mayor Pro Tem Adams.
Yes, I was going to ask Mr. Taylor
or the city manager or Mr. Tesh, if the city wanted to collaborate on an ongoing basis for the next whatever couple of years, could we use COVID funding for that, for ARPA? Because it does affect people who are living in poverty, people that are minimum wage. And as we know, transportation is a piece of whether it's infrastructure or the COVID funding. And I was wondering, will we be able to help? And are there other ways the court or the district attorney's office would be looking for more collaboration in maybe hiring Wake law students, Winston-Salem State, whatever, to help fast track this process? Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Garrett and Mr. Taylor, you want to weigh in on that one?
Good evening, Chairman Taylor, Mayor Pro Tem Adams, members of the City Council. I'm going to let Scott answer. I would imagine that the ARPA money would be an eligible use. Scott?
I'm going to echo what this, excuse me, Chairman Taylor, I'm going to echo what City Manager Garrity said in terms of most likely eligible. Again, as we discussed at Finance Committee, they have changed that disproportionately impacted and proportionate, or just impacted, and allowed us to create classes of individuals or populations that are eligible. So I think we would be able to generalize that a population or a class as having been underserved or in greater need, and would not have to have individual documentation of each person. So let me go back and get an absolute answer for that, but I think the answer is yes.
And Mr. Chair, I would like for the district attorney's office, if possible, to present to us, staff, a report as to how we can be more effective and get more people to the results that they need to be able to move around in society. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. We'll get with the DA's office to try to get that information. And I think I indirectly heard your support for ARPA funding for this project. So thank you in advance. Mr. Mundy.
Just to echo exactly what Mayor Pro Tem said, I think that this is a very useful program. And I think I mean, the results are easy to see. We just need to make sure that the funding is there and make sure that it's not just a pilot program or a 1 or 2 year program. I think this has merit to be an ongoing program, and I support that fully.
Thank you, sir. If there are no more questions or comments, Councilmember Burke.
Yes, thank you, Chair. I just want to comment in support of Mayor Pro Tem and her suggestion, just to hear that since last week, we have received 40 applicants who have a need for this program. That tells us what kind of need we have that is ongoing. And this is a program that I would like for us to be able to sustain. So I'm in support of that as well.
Thank you so much. And I think the general consensus is this is a worthwhile program. We're honored to be able to partner with the DA's office. We want to thank you for serving our community. This has been very beneficial for the city, very beneficial for the county. With all the jobs that are coming to the city and to the region, it's very important that we get people out of their communities and working. So thanks to the committee and to the council for supporting this program. Members of the committee, this is an action item. Is there a motion to approve this item at this time?
So moved.
Second, Mundy.
Okay, it's been properly motioned and seconded. All in favor? Madam Clerk, if you please call the roll.
Councilmember Larson,
Yes.
Councilmember Burke,
Yes.
Councilmember Mundy,
Aye.
Councilmember Taylor.
Yes. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Item G1 is approved unanimously. That completes our consent and general agenda items. Ms. Tony, if you're with us, is there any other items or business that should be brought forward for consideration by the Public Safety?
Good evening, Chair Taylor, Mayor Pro Tem Adams, and members of the committee. Thank you, Chair Taylor. There are no additional items. I just want to thank you and the committee for your continued support of our public safety departments as they do continue to work hard, especially through this pandemic and short staff. So thank you for the programs that you recommend and all the support you give to these departments.
Thank you, ma'am. To the city manager's office and to the city manager, we thank you. To the DA's office, we thank you. It appears that Mr. Larson has A bit of business before we move to close. Mr. Larson is recognized.
One request for information, if we could, it could be sent out to individual council members, but I would like to look at our personnel recruiting issues we currently face as a city, both within the fire and police department. We're getting a lot of static around what our shortages are. If we could get an update as to what our recruiting deficits are and what we're doing to fill those, would be useful information that could be presented at the next meeting or sent around as just an information memo to the council members.
And I saw some heads from the manager's office nodding up and down, Mr. Larson. So I believe we'll get that information and try to present that at a future committee meeting.
That would be
Is there any
great.
other requests or items that should be considered for the good of the order? Councilman Mundy.
This has nothing to do with public safety or the city. I just want to say I'm wearing my purple and black for Sylvia.
Oh, we lost a juggernaut. Madam Sylvia Sprinkle Hamlin has been huge for this community, and we honor her and her family. And members of the committee, this isn't public safety related, but if we could just pause for a moment of silence on her behalf. Thank you to the Sprinkle Hamlin family, and you certainly will be remembered. Mayor Pro Tem Adams.
Yes, Chair Taylor, Mr. Garrity, could we make sure also that the city is bathed in purple for her in her honor? The lights.
Excellent suggestion. Is there any other further business that should be brought forward for the good of the order? Seeing no further business, I hereby declare this Public Safety Committee meeting to be adjourned. Thank you.